Hi friends, my name is Narendran and I had joined SBT in the year 1979. Today I am here to introduce to you an ex-colleague of ours who had joined the bank along with me. His name is Randeep Kamal Wadehra. Randeep had joined State Bank of Travancore as a probationary officer in January 1980. Randeep hails from Punjab and now he lives in Panchkuda near Chandigarh. Unfortunately, he is not able to come here personally and address you all. Just as he was settling down for a promising banking career with SBT, he was forced to leave the bank due to bad health, roughly after a decade of service in the bank. A chronic spondylitis attack, which struck him in 1985, slowly progressed and froze his hip joints completely, which made him totally bedridden. He went back to Chandigarh and was completely dependent on his parents as he was without any earnings and was also totally immobile. The circumstances which were enough for anybody to go into self-pity and despair. But Randeep fought back, and while confined to the bed, he has carved a place for himself in the literary world thanks to his laptop and internet. As of date, Randeep has a wealth of creative output to his credit. A regular columnist with a leading daily, Randeep has reams of poetry, reviews, short stories, and satires to his credit. Randeep is presently recognized as an experienced writer, editor, translator, apart from being a columnist in media and a book critic. He contributes articles on various issues to Tribune and other publications. He is an active blogger with an enviable number of followers. His first book of short stories, Waltz and Other Stories, came out in 2004. Later on, two more books of poems have been published, Rhythms of Love and Other Poems, and My Beautiful World and Other Poems for Children. Let us hear more from Randeep. Randeep, a very hearty welcome from SBT Sahitheegruham. You have been out of SBT for more than 25 years. Can you please tell us about your writing experiences?
Actually, uh, writing, I got it in my genes because my father was interested in Urdu literature, and there used to be get-togethers in Kanpur when we were in Kanpur. Now I was only short and fat chap, and Abraham Lincoln is supposed to be tall and lanky. But she thought she thought that I'll suit the role. But I did it, and I was appreciated for it. Later on in Bangalore, I wrote my first one-act play. Later on, as you said, I took up accounting and I got into the drier drier aspects of life, where we have to look at figures and count and all that stuff. So I lost touch with creativity. Um, I used to read and write, and I became bedridden. I had to maintain my emotional balance, and I had to do something creative, not just to earn money, but to assure myself that I can do something, I can achieve something in life. So I started writing short articles and poems, which were first published in the Indian Express. Later on, an editor from the Tribune, he called me up and he said that we would like you to do some book reviews for us, and that's how my journey on the writing that Times of India. And then because once you get into this and people notice, so you getting some demand for writing this or that. Side by side, I was writing short stories. They were mostly of emotional type. Meanwhile, my sisters, they pulled in their money, my father and my sisters, and they bought me a computer. And then life became easy. And thanks to physiotherapy and other things, stand. I could stand for say half an hour or 1 hour. And during that half an hour or 1 hour, I first learned to type. I did not know anything about computer, and there was nobody to teach us or me. So slowly I learned how to use the computer. Then I started typing on it, and in those days there was no internet. So my father purchased a dot matrix printer for me, and I used to take out the article. That is how I struggled to come out of the pit. It was like a man who has fallen in a dark pit, and you had to come out of it. You can't just sit there and wait for things to happen. You have to make things happen, and that is how I was able to collect about a dozen stories which were published as waltz, and then my poetry book which is now out of print, even waltz is out of print. That was known as Singing Through the Nightmare.
Okay.
And
But first you got your short stories published, isn't it?
Yes, first short stories.
Was
Then
it very difficult to get it published, or
the mainline publishers do not easily accept an unknown author unless he is well connected. I was not well connected. Even now, I am not well connected.
yeah.
So,
That is what I thought.
you have to meet people. I cannot meet people. You will be surprised. Even today, I have not seen my own locality properly. And whenever I have gone out in an ambulance. I have been taken out in an ambulance. So for me, the only introduction to the world is through newspapers or now through the television. Internet has been a great support for me because it has helped me to connect with people.
But can you be more, give us more details about how you could come out and sort of come into a thriving or rather very good writing career? What was the amount of help? I know that you are having only your aged parents with you initially, and now your mother is also no more. So, what was the support you received from them? How?
I'll tell you about first thing about depression. Yes, I also get into depression. Even today, I get into depression. Even today, I get very frustrated, very angry. It's normal for anybody who is. But the thing is that you have to fight it back. You cannot allow it to, put you down. See, what happens is when this sort of tragedy befalls a person, the first thing is you come to know who stand by you. Most of my friends, most of my relatives deserted us, and we became very lonely, and that brought us together. My parents, my sisters, we became stronger as a team. My mother died of hypertension, but when she died in February 1992, something happened within me. It opened the floodgates of creativity, you can say, or it triggered some spark in me, and I took to writing like anything. I mean, nothing else mattered to me than writing. When the book was published, it got me some name in.
That is true. Randeep, as we know, you have published 3 books. Actually, 1 short story book and 2 books of poetry. Can you please briefly tell us what are your future projects or plans?
Presently, I am looking for publishers for my novel. It's a political novel, and another is a short stories manuscript which I have just completed. For that also, I am looking for a publisher. These two are my present concerns.
Randeep, on a personal note, can you? Everybody is interested in knowing about your present state of health. Randeep, hopefully, once the ulcer part is now taken care of, I think you can now concentrate on your spondylitis. I hope your recovery may be faster.
Operated twice, twice they have removed my hip bones and all that stuff, but it has not helped me. They promised that it will help me, but it has not helped me. I do not know what else to do. They say that my spine is like bamboo and it cannot be done anything about it, and my hips are also frozen. Despite putting new hip joints, uh, it has not helped me at all.
Okay.
So I can hope that some miracle I'll start moving on my own. But as far as present status of medicine is concerned, they don't have any solution to my problem.
Let us hope that there will be some natural development like the how the ulcer got cured. I
Yes.
am sure that
So
something will come.
there might be some new medicine.
Yeah, true, true. Now, to conclude our session, Randeep, can you please recite a couple of lines from one of your poems?
Yeah, okay. First poem is Deja Vu, and this I wrote when I was looking out and it was raining from my window. Across my window, grey skies unfold, sheets of water, brown streams hop onto the black roads. From green sidewalks, a half-naked urchin joins the crisscrossing rivulets. His dark skin glistens, black hair slither down his head, wrap his face in wet embrace. The red car speeds through puddles, drenching the child in its wake. His off-white teeth sparkle. A long-forgotten whoop escapes my lips. So I was able to connect my childhood with the childhood of with that child. This is and God left quietly. Volcanoes erupt in human breast. Lava of malice engulfs the mind. Vengeance gives power to predators. A skinny cherub flees her uprooted home in terror with vultures in hot pursuit. Dodging bullets and bombs, she wades through blood swamps. Predators get her, singe her, ravish her, rape her. Gleefully, talons grab her. Her brittle body fights the soaring predator, free falls into the ever exploding world. Hapless earth fails the child. Whoever tried to help her was neutered by awards, turned into a forgotten footnote to man's crimson history.
Randeep, on behalf of all of us here in State Bank of Travancore family, I wish
Yes.
that your
I'm
health
from
improves so that you will be in a position to come and speak to us in person when there is a meet of similar kind
that will be
in
a
the
dream
future
come true.
date. In the future date, huh?
That's
And we
what.
also wish you a very successful writing career and hope to receive from you many more enjoyable and creative works.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Randeep.